Hello everyone, welcome to GameMarx. This week on the show we're going to take a look at Super Tank Run, and I will probably make a Killdozer crack. We're going to take a look at Solar Struggle, and I will explain how my expectations were set too high. And we will look at Panto Me Go, and then I will get in touch with my Zen self and calm back down. Okay, welcome to the show. Our first game up this week was a review Cicely did on Super Tank Run. Break it down for us, Cicely.
It's an old NES style game where you take a tank through 4 lanes and try to dodge barricades, explode red tanks, which I suppose are the enemy.
Do you have to jump anything? Do you have that? It looks like a sight bike. It looks a lot like that. So do you have to jump anything?
Not quite. There's a mode called Turret Toss when you buy the game, where if you have to get as far as you think you can go, and when it starts getting way too hard and you think you're about to hit a barricade, explode the tank and you toss the turret on the top as far as possible. And if you hit a barricade, it's a foul, and that run does not count.
So I had problems with this game blurring on me. When I looked at it, it kind of blurred a little bit, and I don't think I could play it. But you didn't have any issue with that at all.
I'm mostly blind. It's something like a bullet time effect. I noticed once I finally started paying attention to it. I see in colors. I don't see very clearly to begin with, so it blurring did not bother me until you told me about it.
It doesn't start out that way.
No, it's only when you speed up enough.
It just starts happening, and you start wondering what's going on.
If you go on, it gets faster and faster. At least
am I focusing that much?
And all the modes, you get faster and faster. It depends on what you... And the one that's offensive, you have to shoot the red tanks, and that makes you go faster. And the one that's... And all the other modes, you have to collect coins, and that makes you go faster.
End of the day, what was the final verdict?
Try it. The biggest problem with this game is the Xbox controller. And that seems to be the deal with any NES style game. Is the controller is not precise enough for that amount of dodging.
Alright, so review is on the site. That is Super Tank Run, and it is a try from Cicely. Last week I played a lot of Solar Struggle Survival, and so that prompted me to go back and find the original Solar Struggle and go ahead and play it for review. I went in with expectations of Wing Commander and X-Wing versus TIE Fighter and crazy story-driven game meets awesome action elements, and my expectations might have been a little high, I think.
Well, it was story-driven.
There was some story. I found the story to be rather weak and predictable. It didn't really set up any great conflict, or you didn't have an apex in the story, you know, a climax didn't build to. It was just kind of a movie between mission to mission and let you know these are where the mission boundaries end. The RPG elements in Solar Struggle Survival, I was surprised to find they don't exist in Solar Struggle. They only exist in the skirmish mode, which is the free play mode that Survival is based on, and it came. So none of the experience that you gain picking ships, leveling up, weapons and all that are actually present in the story version of the game. The story version just gives you a list of weapon slots, and you can put any weapon in any slot, and there's no real currency to limit you from just maxing out the best weapon you have in all slots at any time.
That doesn't sound very enticing. For you, definitely.
No, I was hoping for a little more. Now, I was surprised that the radio menu and the non-stop action of Survival is skirmish mode. They are very, very close to each other. There's some minor changes in the way it controls and handles in Survival, that is apparent if you've played a lot, but not apparent maybe in the first cut of the game. At the end of the day, my verdict on this one is Solar Struggle is a pass. That was kind of a hard one for me to come to, because if Solar Struggle Survival wouldn't be out, I would call it a try. But because Survival is out now, go download Solar Struggle Survival, which I gave a buy to, and don't mess with Solar Struggle. Our last review for this week is Panto Me Go. Dylan, you took this one out. This is a Go meets Tetris.
Sort of. It's Go or Reverse I meets, with the pieces as pentominoes, which instead of covering one square, they cover 5 squares in different formations. So there's a very complex strategy there. It's harder to think several moves ahead when you're dealing with these oddly shaped pieces. And the way scoring is done is also very odd. You get points.
Not the traditional Go of just circle an area and.
I may be misunderstanding what Go is. I may be thinking of Reverse I, actually, but what it is you're counting points based on influence, based on the empty squares that your pieces surround, or your pieces touch. So you can go in and, play aggressively and steal other players' points, or you can hold back and kind of build structures that give you the maximum amount of points. If you're not careful, you can actually steal points from yourself. So if you're the type of person who likes, Go or Reverse I or chess, you're going to find a lot here. Otherwise, you're probably going to get bored of it.
Now, a lot of times the make or break in these games is the AI, because you won't always have someone to play with. So how was the AI in this one?
I actually found it pretty tough, but I am kind of a lightweight when it comes to competitive strategy. I could sometimes beat the lowest level AI. Now, when we were recording the video for this, actually, I just kept getting beat. But the first couple of times I played it, I beat it no problem. It seems to let you alone. The lowest level AI seems to let you alone if you go, do your own thing. But if you attack it, it'll fight back. The second level AI, I just could never beat. I got very close a couple of times.
How many levels do you have?
3.
So you have 3. So it sounds like there's some good variants in there.
Yeah.
So, Panto Me Go, final verdict.
Try. Again, like I said, it's a fun game, but for me, there wasn't much there. I'm not into things like that, but like I said, if you're into Go or Reverse I or chess, you're going to love it.
All right, so Panto Me Go review is up on the site, and that is a try from Dylan. Now it's time for our top 5 new releases for the week. First, we have up College Lacrosse 2011, and I think we just have to throw right out there, it's once again a lacrosse game, and I don't think any of us really understand what we're doing.
No.
I've looked up the rules enough times to understand approximately what's supposed to go on. Not that I can make it do it.
But we have to call out this game because the graphics are amazing.
The EA type production on the intro screen you have to check out. Just download it and check it out.
I mean, any sports fan in general should check this out. And my one request, Mr. Carlos Sunseri, who do this game, please do a soccer game or other sport that's popular in the United States, because I would love to play some of your sports games. College Lacrosse 2011, the graphics, the gameplay, it's outstanding. It's amazing that this is an indie game.
It's in the game.
Next we have up Adventures of Raka Man. And what can we say about this that's not Mario Brothers?
Not much. Well, it is kind of, I think you said Bonk's Adventure.
Yeah, because he had a club that he would occasionally use instead of his head.
That's right. So he has a club. Okay, other than that, he jumps on turtles, he collects a firepower mushroom, or a flower.
Apple.
Oh, it's an apple, isn't it? Yeah, it's a firepower apple.
He goes Super Saiyan.
He doesn't have bullet bills, but he dodges flying dragons that pretty much serve the same purpose.
It's kind of your basic platformer.
It is. It's a little over-retroed, I think.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite hit retro vibe as bad graphic vibe in a couple places.
And some of the animations are a little off.
The animations are off, not the gameplay. So this is one thing I've found interesting. The timing is really well done so that the controller feels responsive, but the animations do not seem to always line up with at what stage in your jump or when you're jumping on a turtle or trying to dodge the boss fight. They don't always seem to line up. But that is Adventure of Raka Man. Our next one up this week is Googly Eyed Splitters, and this is a puzzle game. We are calling the developer on it, and it's got a twist in there in that you play a little fuzzball that can divide themselves so that you would control two at once, and then have them sit on levers and things like that to get through to the other side. Now, just playing the trial, just going into the trial, it ran into my constant complaint with puzzle games, and that's kind of, where's the puzzle? You know, they were oversimplified.
They felt like tutorial levels where you're supposed to learn techniques, but, you know, we played 8 minutes in, so...
Yeah, so we only looked at the trial on that. It could get more engaging. I did find the controls, when you're split, to be a little awkward, because you're using both thumbsticks, one to move one and the other to move the other. But I don't know of another way to get around that.
That's kind of the point.
Yeah, it makes sense, but you get really weird when you're trying to control the one that's controlled with the left stick when it's on the right, and vice versa.
So that is Googly Eyed Splitters, out this week. Next we have up Avatar Adventures Online, and I think we get to welcome in our first Momorpajig to Xbox, period. Not just indie games. Now granted, there is a 32 at one time limitation. I think on the Xbox in general. I don't think that's just an indies limitation. I don't think any games have gone beyond 32 players at one time.
Well, you had Final Fantasy XI, I think, but other than that... so... this you play your avatar, and it feels like a online role-playing game. Yes.
You go, kill things, collect a bunch of stuff, go back to a dude, turn it in, and he says, go get me some bee stingers now.
Yeah, it kind of feels like World of Warcraft, although it's much more menu-driven, obviously. Feels a little bit rough, but it is pretty complex. I mean, if you look at the menu system compared to even other RPGs on the indie game service.
So I hope while this is still coming out, I get a chance to jump in and really check this out and purchase this game and see where it goes. If for nothing, just to see, I love the idea. I love the ambition to try to make this work. And maybe this won't be it, but maybe it helps this developer get to something really cool and really awesome we have not seen on the service in general yet. So that is Avatar Adventures Online. And our last new release for the week is Ion Ball. And this is pretty much Breakout. It's a modern Breakout.
It's a steampunk Breakout.
It's a steampunk Breakout. It's got a steampunk graphics, but it wasn't doing anything I hadn't seen done before in other Breakout games. It has power-ups, power downs that you can collect. It has some kind of level up system, but I couldn't quite figure out what that was doing.
Yeah, I think it was... You only get 2 levels in the trial, so it's hard to tell, exactly how deep the level up system goes. It feels like, some of the powers you can level up several times. You can put more and more points into them. As far as other Breakout games go, it actually felt better paced than a lot of the other ones.
It does. It is a... Issues with playing a Breakout game in 2011 aside. You may not want to play a Breakout game in 2011. You may be over that. But if you do want to pick up a Breakout game where you do have that itch, this is well put together. I mean, the graphics are good. The feel is good. It handles well on a controller. So the original Breakout games that I played on the 2600 had a paddle, and these, you can't jump from one side of the screen as quick as you could with a paddle when you only have an Xbox controller. So this seems to have done well adapting the speed of the game to the fact that you have a slower controller than the original Breakout was. And the game is Iron Ball on the service. So now comes the time of the week where we go down these top 5 and choose our game of the week. Jasmine has some comments. Who are you voting for? What do you guys feel? This is a rough week for me. I don't feel I have a clear winner, but I don't feel I have negatives against many of these games.
My negatives are all nitpicky. Raka Man was too short. College Cross is lacrosse. Googly Eyes.
That's a negative. It's lacrosse.
Googly Eyes Splitters has control issues that can't be helped. Avatar Adventures is any Memorpaga's problem. It's buggy at best at first.
It's just killing the same thing over and over.
And I'm not voting for a Breakout. I'm sorry.
Really? I would actually vote for
Iron Ball.
I would vote for Iron Ball. I like the graphical feel of it, not just because it's steampunk or anything. Just it's really well polished, and the pacing is good. The control is good.
I think my thoughts right now are split between actually Iron Ball because it is well polished, well made game. Not a lot to knock it for, and Avatar Adventures Online. But I think I have to admit the reason I like Avatar Adventures Online is the idea of that game, not necessarily what I've played of it so far.
We've given Game of the Week to games for the idea before, though.
We have, and we see how that worked out for us.
Yes.
So I think I'm going to join up with Dylan and overrule Sicily and go with Iron Ball as my vote as well.
Very well. Objective noted.
So, Iron Sun Studios Limited, congratulations. Iron Ball is GameMarx Game of the Week. If you want to hear us talk about all the games that came out this week, you can check them out on our podcast. Find that at GameMarx.com. You can get our podcast in 2 flavors now. You can get the full podcast, which goes on for about an hour, and we talk about a lot of other stuff too. Or you can just download the segment where we talk about the new releases. So if you only want to hear the new releases or just have a moment on lunch and you just want to catch up on what should I go play tonight, you can grab the new releases podcast at GameMarx.com. Thank you everyone for watching the show.